Hey folks, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever dropped a quarter and thought, meh, just 25 cents? Well, let me blow your mind today. That little coin you might have ignored at the gas station or let roll under the couch cushion might actually be worth over $1 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $1.1 million, for a quarter. Not gold, not platinum, just a plain old 2013 P Mint Mark Great Basin quarter. Now before you run to flip over your couch cushions or dig through that jar full of spare change, let's talk about what makes this coin so special. And stick around, because by the end of this video, you're gonna want to go on your own coin treasure hunt. So let's start with the basics. The 2013 Great Basin quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, which the U.S. Mint rolled out between 2010 and 2021. The design on the back celebrates Great Basin National Park in Nevada. You got this gnarly-looking bristlecone pine tree that's been holding on for dear life longer than most of us have been alive. Seriously, some of these trees are over 4,000 years old. Makes your houseplant look like a toddler. Now the one we're talking about today has a little P Mint mark on the front, meaning it was minted in Philadelphia. Millions of these were made, but not all of them are created equal. Oh no. One of these coins, a 2013 P Great Basin quarter, ended up being so rare and so pristine that collectors are throwing down cash like it's the Super Bowl of coin collecting. And that rare gem recently fetched a jaw-dropping $1.1 million in the market. Now, you're probably wondering, what the heck made that quarter worth more than most homes? Well, here's the scoop. This particular coin is believed to have a perfect combination of factors. It's got a mint error that sets it apart from the rest, plus it's in flawless condition. Like, never left the bankroll, kind of flawless. Coin experts call it MS70, which basically means it's as close to perfect as a coin can get. Now let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at my buddy Jake's garage sale. I was looking through a box of old junk, some bottle caps, a broken yo-yo, a VHS tape of Crocodile Dundee, real treasure. But at the bottom of the box, I saw a shiny quarter. I picked it up, and it was a 2013 Great Basin. My heart jumped. Could this be the one? It wasn't. But that moment sent me down the rabbit hole of coin collecting. I started learning, researching, flipping through coin books like a madman. Now, every time I get change back at the drive-thru, I check my quarters like I'm Indiana Jones inspecting an ancient artifact. The employees probably think I'm nuts, but hey, it's better than handing away $1 million coin with your fries, right? So back to our $1 million quarter. What makes this coin unique, besides condition, is the potential for die errors. That means mistakes during the minting process that make the coin stand out. We're talking double dies, misaligned strikes, off-center images, or even missing elements. These mistakes are like typos in a rare first edition book. Coin nerds, myself included, go wild for them. Now here's something even crazier. Most folks don't even know these coins exist. They're sitting in piggy banks, coin jars, glove compartments. There could be one in your house right now and you wouldn't even know. That's like having a winning lottery ticket and using it to prop up a wobbly table. Second, examine the coin's condition. If it's shiny, no scratches, and looks like it just got born at the mint, you might be onto something. Third, inspect it for errors. You don't need a fancy microscope, just a decent magnifying glass will do the trick. Look for doubling in the text, off-center designs, or any weird anomalies. And hey, if you're not sure what you're looking at, there are great online communities and coin grading services that'll help you out. Now I gotta be honest, chances are you won't find the $1 million unicorn on your first try. But the thrill of the hunt? Oh man, it's addictive. It's like metal detecting, but you don't even need to leave the couch. Just check your spare change and hope for the jackpot. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, here's the bottom line. That 2013 P Mint Mark Great Basin quarter might seem ordinary, but under the right conditions, it could be your ticket to becoming a millionaire. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little knowledge, and a dash of luck. And remember, Coins like this are out there. They're not myths. They're not urban legends. They're real, and people are finding them. So next time you're handed change at the gas station or pull a coin from the couch, take a second look. That 25 cents could be worth a house. Or two. Or maybe even your dream retirement on a beach in Florida. Just keep your eyes open and your magnifying glass ready, and hey, if you like this video and want more tips, tricks, and crazy stories about coins worth big money, hit that subscribe button. I'm here every week breaking down which coins you need to be checking for and sharing all the strategies that can turn your pocket change into real cash. Don't forget to tap that notification bell too, you don't want to miss a single coin worth collecting. Hey folks, stop what you're doing for just a second and listen closely because I'm about to blow your mind. Somewhere out there, in pockets, jars, couch cushions, and old piggy banks, there's a 2006 South Dakota quarter that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A single quarter. 25 cents. Worth more than most people's houses. Now, before you go flipping over your couch cushions like a madman, stick around because I'm going to walk you through exactly what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot one, and why it might just be hanging out in your change without you even knowing. And hey, I've got a funny little story about how I almost threw away a coin worth hundreds. Trust me, you don't want to miss that disaster. So, let's talk about this 2006 South Dakota quarter. It was minted as part of the 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. South Dakota's quarter came out in 2006, obviously, and features Mount Rushmore, a pheasant in flight, and some stalks of wheat. Now, the design is cool and all, but here's the kicker, most of these quarters are worth face value. But there's a tiny handful out there that are absolute unicorns. First off, we've got mint errors. These are the holy grail in coin collecting. Sometimes a coin gets double struck, has die cracks, off-center strikes, or even wrong metal compositions. And one legendary 2006 South Dakota quarter was struck on a planchet that wasn't even meant for a quarter. That's like baking a cake in a pie pan and still winning a baking contest. Total fluke, but absolutely valuable. The $1 million coin was struck on a nickel planchet. Yeah. That quarter-size design got smushed onto the wrong metal. It's thinner, lighter, and way off. But it slipped through the cracks at the Denver Mint and ended up in circulation. Somehow, someone caught it and realized they were holding a gold mine. Obvious at first glance. You gotta look close. The weight is off, the edges aren't right, and the color might seem a little strange. If you've got one, don't go spending it on a gas station snack. You might be tossing away your ticket to millionaire status. Okay, quick break from the facts for a little story. A few years ago, I was digging through my old coin jar. You know, the one that's 90% pennies and 10% mystery lint. I found this weird-looking quarter that felt lighter than usual. It had some smudgy edges, and it was a little off-color. I thought maybe I dropped it in coffee or something. I spent it. I bought a pack of gum with that thing. A week later, I saw a video talking about error quarters and nearly had a heart attack. I went back to that store and asked the cashier if they still had it. He looked at me like I'd lost my mind, which I probably had. Moral of the story, check your change, people. It needs to have that little D for Denver on the front, right near Washington's ponytail. No D, no dice. Look for doubling in the letters or design, off-center stamping, or a partial image. Is the reeded edge, those little ridges, missing or incomplete? Another big clue. While even circulated coins can be worth money, uncirculated ones are always more valuable. If you've got one that checks some of these boxes, don't let it go. Have it looked at by a professional coin grader. It might cost you a few bucks to get it certified, but that's a small price to pay if you're sitting on $1 million payday. Let's talk about current market value. That famous error coin from 2006. It sold at auction for $1.2 million. And that's not just some rumor floating around on the internet. That's a legit, documented auction sale. And as more people get into coin collecting, values are climbing. You're not just collecting quarters, you're investing in miniature pieces of history, and look, maybe yours isn't the one. Maybe it's not worth 7 figures. But there are still South Dakota quarters out there selling for hundreds or even thousands just because of minor errors or high-quality strikes. That's why it pays, literally, to pay attention to your change. The 2006 D South Dakota quarter might look like just another shiny disc in your pocket, but it could be your lucky ticket. With the right mint error and a little bit of luck, that simple piece of change could be worth $1.2 million. That's a whole lot of cheeseburgers. Go dig through your coin jar, empty your car's cup holders, and check under those couch cushions. Who knows what you'll find? Just don't spend it on gum like I did. Still losing sleep over that one? And hey, if you want more stories, more laughs, and more ways to spot rare coins worth real money, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and turn on those notifications. I've got loads of tips coming your way on how to build a killer coin collection and maybe, just maybe, strike it rich 1 quarter at a time. Hey folks, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever looked at a plain old quarter and thought, this little coin could pay off my mortgage, buy me a yacht, and still leave enough for a lifetime supply of beef jerky? No? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the wild world of a very specific coin, the 2008 P Arizona quarter. Not just any pocket change, my friend. This bad boy is sitting on a market value of $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. 1.3 million. That's more than some folks' houses, 3 times the price of a Ferrari, and about the same as a really expensive mistake on eBay. So hang tight, because I'm gonna break down how this quarter went from spare change to super treasure, what makes it so valuable, and how you can check your own stash to see if you've got a millionaire hiding in your junk drawer. Let me take you back to 2008. Gas prices were climbing, flip phones were still a thing, and the US Mint was pumping out state quarters like there was no tomorrow. Arizona got its turn that year, with a pretty neat design, the Grand Canyon in the background and a saguaro cactus standing tall and proud in the foreground. Real southwestern vibes. Now, on most Arizona quarters, everything's where it's supposed to be. Canyon? Check. Cactus? Check. Little Pete mint mark for Philadelphia? Yep, right there on the front. Some of those 2008 P mint mark Arizona quarters came out with a wild error, part of the design ended up doubling. And not just a little bit. That saguaro cactus? It looks like it grew an extra arm or two. Kinda like it mutated into a cactus superhero. The technical term is a die clash, or die break, or even double die, depending on who you ask. Basically, the die used to strike the coin got misaligned or damaged, and bam, you've got yourself a freaky, rare, valuable quarter. Only a handful of these error coins have been found in high-grade condition. One in particular, graded at MS-67 by a top grading service, went on to fetch a jaw-dropping $1.3 million in a private sale. That's right, someone coughed up 7 figures for a coin most people would have used to buy a soda. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale, digging through a box of old board games and VHS tapes. Don't judge me, I love the classics, when I spotted a plastic bag full of state quarters. Mostly face value stuff, but I took them home anyway. I was bored later that night, watching reruns and flipping through coins like a detective in a crime drama. An Arizona quarter. I wasn't even looking for it, just happened to notice the cactus looked kind of funky. I mean, it had more arms than my cousin Larry after 3 Red Bulls. I did a double take, pulled up some pictures online, and nearly fell off my chair. Now, it wasn't the $1 million version, but I did get it appraised and sold it for a couple $1,000. That's still more than enough for a new TV, some tools, and, let's be honest, a bunch of tacos. In jars, drawers, glove boxes, or under the couch cushions, you could be sitting on a hidden fortune. You don't have to be a coin expert. You just have to know what to look for. Flip it over and find the saguaro cactus on the back. Look closely at the area near the cactus arms. If it looks like the cactus has extra arms or weird shapes overlapping the design, you might have a die clash or double die. That's key. These high-value ones come from the Philadelphia Mint, and most importantly, look at the condition. The better shape it's in, the higher the value. If your quarter looks like it went through a blender, it's probably not going to make headlines. But if it's shiny, crisp, and got that weird extra arm thing going on, you could be in business. Oh, and please, for the love of all that is holy, don't try to clean your coin. That's like washing a Picasso with Windex. You'll ruin the value faster than a raccoon in a jewelry store. Coins like the 2008 P Arizona quarter prove that the treasures we're chasing might already be in our pockets. It's not just about luck. It's about knowing what to look for, taking a second to check, and maybe, just maybe, cashing in big. If you're anything like me, you've probably let hundreds of coins slip through your fingers without a second thought. But not anymore, right? Now, every time you get change at the gas station or find a quarter in the couch cushions, you're gonna take a second look, and if you ever find that $1 million quarter, just remember who tipped you off. Now before you run off to raid your coin jar, do me one big favor. Hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell. Leave a comment and tell me what weird coins you found. I've got plenty more stories, tips, and hidden treasure to share with you, and trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. Hey there, fellow coin hunters and curious treasure seekers. Let me hit you with a wild question. What if I told you that a plain OL dollar coin from 1972 could be worth more than your house? Yeah, you heard me right. A 1972 no-mint Mark Washington dollar coin has been turning heads in the collecting world, and it's clocking in at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million on the current market. Now before you start flipping your couch cushions or raiding grandma's piggy bank, stick around. I'm gonna break down exactly what makes this coin so special, how to tell if you've got one, and a few funny twists from my own hunt for hidden coin treasure. Trust me, if you've ever passed up change thinking it's worthless, you might change your mind real fast. Alright, let's dig into this golden nugget of a story. First things first, the 1972 no-mint Mark Washington dollar coin. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait a second, George Washington was on the quarter, right? And yes, you'd be right, but this particular coin is a dollar piece from the experimental run of the Eisenhower dollar series, which began in 1971. Here's where it gets interesting. The $1,972 coin was supposed to have a mint mark, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco or P for Philadelphia. But in a very rare twist of fate, a small batch slipped out without any mint mark at all. Boom. Just like that, a coin that should have been a plain Jane suddenly became the Beyoncé of dollar coins. Only a handful of these no mint mark coins are known to exist. We're talking rare like a unicorn riding a skateboard rare. Coin collectors lose their minds over this kind of stuff, and the market value reflects that. Today, one of these beauties can fetch up to $1.4 million. Now let me tell you a little story. A couple years ago, I was visiting my cousin up in Michigan. He's got this old school coin jar, like a giant pickle jar full of random change. You know, the kind that's so heavy it could double as a home security system. So we're sitting around bored on a snowy day, and I start sifting through this jar just for fun. And I kid you not, I pull out this dusty OL dollar coin that looked like it had been through a blender. It was a 1972. Now hold up, before you think I hit the jackpot, let me break your heart. I checked it out, and it did have a mint mark. Dang. So close. But ever since then, I've been hooked. That moment showed me just how easy it could be to overlook something worth serious cash. That coin might not have been the $1 million baby, but it started my whole coin collecting obsession. First, check the front of the coin. You should see George Washington's face, of course. Then look right underneath the neck near the rim. That's where the mint mark usually is. If it's missing, no D, no S, no P, you might be onto something big. And I'm not talking about some worn-out coin where the mark's been rubbed off. This no mint mark version was struck without a mint mark from the get-go. Second, the coin's gotta be in good shape. We're talking shiny, little to no scratches, and all the details on George's hair and the eagle on the back still crisp. If it looks like it's been chewed on by a raccoon, chances are it won't fetch that $1 million price tag. Get it authenticated. Don't just throw it on eBay and hope for the best. You'll want to take it to a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what you have, and what it's worth. Now, let's get into the $1 million question. Why is it worth so much? One word: rarity. The coin is like a glitch in the matrix. Collectors go crazy for these minting mistakes. And because the no mint mark version is so limited, every time one pops up for sale, the bidding war turns into something out of a reality TV show. It's not just about age or silver content. It's about scarcity and condition. And when both of those stars align, boom. $1 million magic. The answer is yes. Some of the most valuable coins ever discovered came out of spare change, coin jars, and even pocket lint. People just didn't realize what they had until someone pointed it out. And hey, maybe today's your lucky day. Maybe you've got one of these babies sitting in a drawer right now, quietly waiting to change your life. Don't just check coins from 1972. Mint errors, no mint marks, and rare varieties pop up all over the place. From Lincoln pennies to state quarters, there are hidden treasures all through your loose change. Once you know what to look for, you'll never see pocket change the same way again. That a plain OL 1972 Washington dollar coin, if it's missing a mint mark and in great shape, can be worth a life-changing $1.4 million bucks. That rare coins do turn up in everyday places. That you should always double-check your change, and maybe bug your relatives to let you raid their coin jars while you're at it. And remember, it's not just about the money. It's about the hunt. The thrill of finding something rare. The stories you collect along the way. And if you're like me, it's about laughing at how a snowy afternoon digging through coins turned into a full-blown hobby that makes you check your pockets like a detective at a crime scene. If you enjoyed this video and you're hungry for more tips on coins worth real money, strategies to spot rare finds, and a few more laughs from my own collecting adventures, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to tap the like and leave a comment if you've ever found a weird coin you couldn't explain. Let's turn those pennies into potential jackpots, one coin at a time. Hey folks, have you ever dropped a quarter and just kept walking like it was no big deal? Well, let me tell you something. After today's video, you're gonna be crawling under your couch cushions, digging through your car's cup holder, and checking that old jar of coins you swore you'd take to Coinstar 10 years ago. Because hiding among all that spare change just might be a 2001 New York quarter from the Philadelphia Mint, and it could be worth $1 million. That's right. $1 million. For a single quarter. Who in their right mind pays that kind of cash for 25 cents? Well, it turns out collectors do, especially when a coin has rare features and historical value. And if you're like me, someone who once accidentally paid for a gas station hot dog with a silver dollar, then you'll appreciate the kind of story we're about to get into. Before we dive into the $1 million details, let me tell you about a little experience I had that made me take coin collecting seriously. So picture this: I'm at a flea market a few years back, just browsing around, looking for some old comic books and probably a funnel cake. I stop by this table with a sign that says, "Coins for cheap." Sounds promising, right? I see a quarter with the Statue of Liberty on it, looks cool, so I ask how much. The guy says, $2. I laugh. He doesn't. I buy it. Turns out it was a 2001 New York quarter with a die error, sold it later for over $500. That, my friends, is the moment I became a coin nerd with a funnel cake in one hand and a profit in the other. Alright, let's break down this legendary coin, the 2001 New York State Quarter. First things first, this quarter is part of the 50 State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. The New York quarter was the third coin released in 2001, and it shows the Statue of Liberty in front of an outline of New York State, with a line tracing the Hudson River and Erie Canal. Pretty neat design, especially if you're into landmarks and state pride. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most of these coins are worth, well, 25 cents. But a small handful are not your average laundry day quarters. A few 2001 New York quarters have some wild minting errors that make collectors lose their minds and open their wallets. We're talking misstrikes, off-center errors, double dies, and even coins struck on the wrong planchets. That's coin speak for the wrong type of blank metal disc. The $1 million version of this quarter? It's one with multiple rare errors. Experts say only one or two exist in this pristine condition. It was struck with a dramatic double die on both sides, has a unique metal composition mistake, and is graded at the highest level, MS 70. That's Mint State 70, a perfect coin. Flawless. Basically the supermodel of quarters. Now, a coin like this doesn't show up in your pocket change every day. But guess what? One collector did find theirs in a roll of quarters they picked up from their local bank. Just imagine going to the bank, asking for a $10 roll of quarters, and finding one that could buy you a whole house. Maybe two. With a pool. Let's talk a bit about value. In typical circulated condition, your 2001 New York quarter is worth face value. But in mint condition, maybe a couple bucks. If it's graded MS 65 or higher, you might fetch $20 to $50. Not bad. But the dream scenario? That $1 million variety. The Holy Grail. That one's been authenticated, certified, and is considered a national treasure by collectors. Last reported market value? A solid $1 million. Yeah, I'd take that over a scratch-off any day. Doubled images, off-center design, weird coloring, or edges that look strange. Step 3, consider getting it professionally graded. This can make a huge difference in its value. You can send it to a service like PCGS or NGC. Don't spend it on vending machine snacks. Please. Now, some people might think this is all just hype. But coin collecting is big business. There are auctions all the time where coins go for 5, 6, 7 figures. And these aren't all ancient Roman coins or colonial-era pennies. Sometimes, they're coins made in our lifetime. Coins we used to skip across a pond or throw in a tip jar. Let me share another quick story. My cousin, who always thought my coin collecting hobby was just old guy stuff, called me in a panic one day. He'd found an odd quarter in his junk drawer and wanted to know if it was worth anything. I told him to send a photo. It was a 2001 New York quarter with what looked like a major die clash. I said, "Don't touch it with your bare hands, and don't clean it." He ignored me, scrubbed it shiny with toothpaste, and mailed it to a dealer. It came back worth about $10. If he hadn't cleaned it, it could have been worth hundreds. The moral of the story? Treat your coins like fine wine and grandma's china. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby anymore. It's a real opportunity for treasure hunting. And it's fun. There's something about the mystery of it all. You never know what's sitting in that bowl on your kitchen counter. That 2001 quarter might be the $1 million lottery ticket you didn't even know you were holding. The next time you're digging through your change for parking meter coins, take a closer look. That 2001 New York quarter might just have a P on it and a few quirky features that turn it into a jackpot. And don't roll your eyes at that pile of coins your grandma left you. Start checking them. You could be sitting on a gold mine. Or at least a very valuable piece of nickel and copper. If you enjoyed this video, learned something new, or just want more tips on how to spot valuable coins, hit that subscribe button. I'm always sharing the latest info on coins that are worth way more than you'd expect. We're talking pocket change that pays for vacations, cars, and in rare cases, mansions. Leave a comment if you've ever found a valuable coin, or if you're now inspired to go rummaging through your coin jar. Trust me, it's more exciting than you think. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your eyes on your quarters, your coffee strong, and your sense of humor intact. Hey folks, listen up. Before you go tossing that spare change into the tip jar or feeding it to a vending machine like a snack monster, you might want to stop and look a little closer. Because hidden among those common quarters could be a jackpot worth more than a brand new sports car. Yeah, I'm talking about a coin that could make your wallet do backflips. One little 1999 Pennsylvania state quarter, worth a whopping $1.6 million, sounds too good to be true, right? Well, today we're diving deep into why this ordinary-looking coin could be worth a fortune, what to look for, and how it happened. We're also gonna have a few laughs, and I'll tell you a wild story involving pocket change, a laundromat, and a lesson I'll never forget. Buckle up, coin hunters. You don't want to miss this. Alright, let's kick things off with some background. In 1999, the U.S. Mint started releasing the 50-state quarter series. Each state got its own unique design, and Pennsylvania was the second coin released that year, right after Delaware. Now, the 1999 Pennsylvania quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Most of these coins? Totally normal. You've probably had one in your hands a dozen times. But what separates a regular old quarter from one worth $1.6 million? This rare 1999 Pennsylvania quarter isn't valuable because of the design or the fact that it's old. It's valuable because of a crazy combination of factors. We're talking about mint errors, ultra-rare conditions, and collector frenzy. The Holy Grail version of this coin is known to have multiple things going for it. Die clash errors, where the images from the die's imprint incorrectly double, die obverse, where the lettering or design appears doubled, off center strikes, where the design is noticeably misaligned, full strike with original luster and nearly flawless condition. It's like hitting the coin lottery. These bad boys are rare. As in one or two known examples, rare condition is king in the coin world. If you've got a 1999 Pennsylvania quarter in what's called MS 67 or higher, Mint State 67, you're in serious business. That means the coin has barely been touched, no scratches, no smudges, and still shines like it just came out of the mint's oven. One collector got their hands on such a pristine error coin, graded it professionally, and guess what? Bam, the market value shot up to over $1.6 million. Yep, million with an M. Now, not every 1999 Pennsylvania quarter is gonna bring you that kind of dough. But if you've got one with a strong strike, no visible wear, and any of those minting errors, you're sitting on something special. The demand for rare coins is hotter than a July sidewalk in Florida. Collectors are paying big money for state quarters with unique features. The 1999 quarters in general are especially hot because they kicked off the whole 50-state quarter series. First-year coins always carry extra interest. Right now, auction houses are getting flooded with bids on these error coins. And if yours is graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC and checks all the boxes, you could be looking at serious offers in the 6 or even 7-figure range. Let me tell you about a time I almost gave away a small fortune. A few years back, I was doing laundry at this sketchy coin-operated place with machines that looked like they hadn't been cleaned since the 70s. I needed quarters, so I dumped a whole jar of change into my backpack and brought it along. I'm standing there, feeding quarters into the washer, not paying any attention, just trying to get out of there before I caught something. A guy next to me, this old-timer with a beard like Santa Claus, suddenly goes, "Hey buddy, you mind if I take a look at some of those quarters?" I shrug and say sure, thinking nothing of it. This dude picks one out of the pile and whistles. He says, "You know, this right here could be worth some real money." I kind of laugh and say, "Yeah, okay, whatever you say, coin wizard." Turns out, I had a 1999 Pennsylvania quarter with a slight off-center strike. It wasn't worth $1 million or anything, but I later looked it up and it had sold online for almost $1,000. $1,000. And I almost fed it to a busted washing machine. Ever since that day, I check every coin before it leaves my hand. Especially quarters from 1999. Because you never know. One lucky find could pay off your bills, buy you a new car, or heck, fund that fishing boat you've been dreaming about. Letters like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" might appear doubled. That's where extra metal appears along the rim or within the design. A magnifying glass helps. so does a good light source. You don't need to be Sherlock Holmes, but the more attention to detail, the better your chances. So there you have it. The 1999 Pennsylvania quarter might look like your average coin, but in the right condition and with the right errors, it could be worth $1.6 million. That's not pocket change, that's life-changing money. Imagine picking up a soda, getting your change back, and one of those quarters could pay off your mortgage. Wild, right? Coin collecting isn't just for guys with monocles and tweed jackets. It's for regular folks like you and me who like a little thrill, a little history, and maybe a shot at finding treasure in our couch cushions. If you found this video helpful or even just entertaining, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and tap the bell so you never miss another video about coins worth real money. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and hidden gem coins coming your way, so don't miss out. You never know which coin in your pocket might just change your life. Hey folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever handed over a quarter for a coffee refill or dropped one into a vending machine and thought, it's just 25 cents? Well, let me tell you, if that quarter was a 2017 Ozark Riverways quarter, you might have just given away a small fortune. And I'm not joking. One of these little bad boys is sitting pretty with a current market value of $1.7 million. Yes, I said million, not thousand. That's a house. That's retirement. That's finally telling your boss you're going to pursue your dream of opening a hot dog stand by the beach. Today, we're diving into everything you need to know about this insanely valuable coin. We'll talk about how to spot it, why it's worth so much, and of course, I'll share a little personal story involving quarters, a metal detector, and a very confused raccoon. So, grab your coin jars, your coffee, and maybe a magnifying glass. Let's go treasure hunting. This coin is part of the America the Beautiful series, which ran from 2010 to 2021. The idea was to highlight national parks and historic sites from all over the United States. In 2017, one of those honored places was the Ozark National Scenic Riverways in Missouri. And let me tell you, they didn't just make it pretty, they accidentally made one that's now worth nearly $2 million. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these quarters, marked with a little P on the front, right next to George Washington's ponytail. But here's the kicker, not all of them are equal. The one that sold for $1.7 million? That wasn't just any quarter. It was what we call a rare error coin in pristine condition. What kind of error makes a 25-cent coin worth more than a Lamborghini? Well, the exact details vary, but usually, it involves a minting mistake. We're talking things like double dies, off-center strikes, missing clad layers, or even coins struck on the wrong planchet. That's a fancy word for the metal disc used to make the coin. If one of these quarters was struck on a nickel planchet or with a double die, boom, jackpot, and get this. One collector found theirs while going through a simple roll of quarters they got from the bank. No expensive equipment, no treasure maps, just a good eye and a little bit of luck. I don't know about you, but I've got a sudden urge to head to the nearest coin machine and ask for change in quarters only. Now let me tell you a little story. A couple years ago, I was out metal detecting in my backyard. Nothing fancy, just a little weekend fun. I figured I'd find a rusty nail or maybe an old bottle cap. Well, I was right, mostly. I found a total of 7 nails, 2 Hot Wheels cars, and an angry raccoon who apparently had claimed the spot as his personal nap zone, but in the middle of all that chaos, I also found a shiny quarter. Now, at the time, I didn't think much of it. I just pocketed it and kept looking for treasure while avoiding eye contact with the raccoon. Later that night, I was scrolling through coin forums, because I'm that kind of person, and saw a post about the 2017 Ozark quarter. I checked mine, and sadly, it wasn't the $1 million version. But that was the day I realized just how easy it is to overlook a tiny fortune. From that moment on, I started checking every coin I came across. Vending machines, parking meters, tip jars, I was on it. My wife thought I was losing it. She caught me digging through our laundry money and asked if I was starting a coin cult. Maybe I am. The cult of cash in your pocket you didn't know was there. So, here's how you can tell if you've got a potential goldmine. First, check the mint mark. It has to have that little P for Philadelphia. Then flip it over and look closely at the image of the mill at Alley Spring. That's the scenic shot featured on the back. If anything looks odd, like doubled text, weird metal textures, or the image being slightly off-center, you might have a rare error. Use a magnifier or even the zoom on your phone's camera. Look especially at the words United States of America and E pluribus unum. If those letters are doubled or ghosted, cha-ching, you can also weigh the coin. A standard quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If it's significantly heavier or lighter, that could be a sign it was struck on the wrong metal, which is exactly the kind of thing collectors go nuts over. Not every weird coin is valuable. Some are just dirty, bent, or chewed on by a dog. True story. My cousin's Labrador once swallowed a quarter, and let's just say, that one's not going to be winning any coin shows. Now, if you think you found the $1 million Ozark quarter, here's what you do. First, don't go spending it on a candy bar. I know it's tempting, but trust me, you'll regret it. Instead, take it to a certified coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can professionally evaluate the coin, check for authenticity, and assign it a grade. The higher the grade, the higher the value. That $1.7 million sale? It was for a coin graded as nearly perfect. Once it's graded, you can decide whether to sell at auction or through a private collector. Either way, you're looking at a life-changing payday. So there you have it. The 2017 P Ozark Riverways quarter, a little piece of metal that might just turn your pocket change into a $1 million miracle. Whether it's hiding in your couch cushions or jingling in your car's cup holder, it's worth checking. And hey, even if you don't find the holy grail of quarters, who knows what else you might discover. Coin collecting is like the ultimate treasure hunt, no pirates or maps needed. Just a keen eye, a little patience, and maybe a raccoon-proof backyard. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, coin collecting strategies, and hilarious stories from a guy who once argued with a vending machine about loose change, then hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. And don't forget to like the video, share it with a friend who's always broke, and drop a comment if you've ever found a valuable coin. Let's swap stories. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters and change rummagers. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? I'm not talking about glancing to see if you've got enough for a vending machine snack. I mean really looked at your quarters. Because right now, there could be a 1979 D Washington quarter sitting in your junk drawer, in your glove box, or under your couch cushion that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yep. You heard that right. 1.8 million bucks. From a quarter. If that doesn't make you want to run to your coin jar and start flipping quarters like a magician with a caffeine addiction, I don't know what will. But don't worry, stick with me for the next 40 minutes, and I'll break down everything you need to know about this insanely valuable coin. We'll cover what makes it special, how to spot one, why collectors are drooling over it, and I'll even share a little personal story about how I almost tossed a small fortune into a Coinstar machine. Spoiler alert, almost. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's talk quarters that are worth more than most people's houses. Alright, let's dive into this little silver-colored superstar, the 1979 D Washington quarter. Now if you're holding a regular one, don't panic. Most of them are worth, well, exactly 25 cents. But there's a rare version of this coin that collectors are shelling out big money for. And when I say big, I mean big enough to retire early and spend your days sipping something fruity on a beach somewhere. First off, the D Mint mark. That D stands for the Denver Mint. Coins struck there will have a tiny little D on the front, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Not exactly the most glamorous spot, but hey, it works. Denver struck hundreds of millions of these things, so just seeing a D doesn't mean you hit the jackpot, not yet anyway. Now here's where things get interesting. The rare version of this coin is valuable because of a combination of factors: pristine condition, minting errors, and most importantly, collector demand. One of the most sought-after versions is what's known as a full strike with a rare die variety. Some of these coins were struck using misaligned dies or dies that had been over-polished, creating strange textures and ghostly details. Imagine George Washington looking like he was airbrushed by a 70s sci-fi artist. It's bizarre and beautiful, and collectors go nuts for that kind of thing. Then there's the high-grade factor. If your 1979 D quarter is in almost perfect condition, and I mean no scratches, no bag marks, and a luster that blinds you on a sunny day, then it's what we call MS68 or higher. That's mint state 68 in coinspeak, and those are rarer than a teenager voluntarily putting their phone down. Now let's talk market value. One of these ultra-rare 1979 D quarters sold for a stunning $1.8 million at auction. That's not monopoly money. That's real life, buy a house on the lake, pay off your mother-in-law's debt kind of money. Why? Because collectors and investors are always on the hunt for unicorn coins. And this one? Oh, it's a unicorn wrapped in a leprechaun riding a rainbow. It checks all the boxes: rarity, beauty, history, and pure collector hype. A few years back, I was cleaning out my late uncle's garage. You know the kind: cobwebs, old fishing gear, and a box labeled junk drawer. Inside were random screws, a few AA batteries that expired in 1997, and a jar of coins. I almost threw the whole jar in one of those coin machines at the grocery store. And I don't know if it was my gut or just the ghost of my uncle yelling from beyond, "Check those quarters." So I sat down and started looking. Lo and behold, there was a shiny 1979 D quarter. My heart started doing backflips. I whipped out my magnifying glass like Sherlock Holmes on Red Bull. Now, mine wasn't the $1 million version, turned out to be worth about $10, but hey, that's a 3,900% profit. And it taught me a valuable lesson. Always check your change. Because you never know what's hiding in there. Here's what you want to look for if you're hunting for this treasure: look for double dies, weird textures, or funky edges, and if you think you found something special, don't go posting it on social media just yet. Take it to a professional coin grader or dealer. They can confirm if you're holding a modern-day gold mine or just a glorified soda token. Believe it or not, people have discovered these coins in the wild, in rolls of quarters from the bank, in estate sales, even in old dresser drawers. One guy found one at a garage sale in a little sandwich bag marked 25 cents each. He paid a quarter. It sold at auction for over $1 million. That's the kind of story that keeps us coin nerds going, and if you're wondering if these coins will go up in value, the answer is a solid maybe. The coin market is like the stock market, driven by trends, rarity, and who wants what. But one thing is for sure: coins with a story, a flaw, or a stunning grade will always catch the eyes of serious collectors. A tiny piece of metal that could change your life if you're lucky enough to find the right one. While most are still just worth a slice of gum at the gas station, that rare beauty out there is worth $1.8 million. And it could be hiding in your kitchen drawer right now. Remember, coins like these are why it pays, literally, to slow down and take a look at your change. You never know when history, rarity, and cold hard cash are staring back at you from your coin jar. If you found this video helpful, funny, or even just mildly entertaining, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button like you just found $1 million quarter. Hit the like button, drop a comment telling me what weird coins you found, and don't forget to check out my other videos where I dig into more coins that are worth serious money. Keep hunting, keep learning, and keep having fun with it. Who knows? The next time you dig through your couch cushions, you just might strike gold. Hey folks, have you ever dropped a quarter and didn't even bother picking it up because you thought it was just 25 cents? Well, buckle up, because the next quarter you ignore might be worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Yeah, you heard me right. Not $100. Not $1,000. $1.9 million. And it's not some fancy gold coin or a super rare commemorative piece either. Nope, It's a plain old 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark. The kind you might find in your couch cushions or stuck between the car seats under a pile of old fries. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story behind the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter. I'm gonna tell you why it's so valuable, how it managed to slip through the cracks, and how you can spot one yourself. And of course, I've got a personal story for you that'll have you checking every coin you own by the end of this video. So let's get into it before someone else snags that $1 million quarter out from under your nose. Alright, let's rewind the clock back to 1965. Lyndon B. Johnson was president, The Sound of Music was topping the box office, and people were grooving to the Beatles. But something else big happened that year, something numismatic. That's a fancy word for coin-related. Makes you sound smart at parties. In 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped making silver quarters. Before that, quarters were 90% silver. But because of rising silver prices and people hoarding coins like squirrels hoard acorns, the government said, nope, we're done with silver. So starting in 1965, they switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition. That switch wasn't as smooth as they hoped. Some leftover silver blanks, called planchets, got stuck in the minting machines and accidentally got struck with the new 1965 design. So while most 1965 quarters were clad and pretty ordinary, a few were secretly made from silver. Like sneaky little rebels of the coin world. A silver quarter pretending to be a regular quarter, just chilling in your pocket change for decades, waiting for someone smart enough to notice it doesn't quite weigh the same or sound the same when dropped. Collectors are drooling over these rare 1965 silver quarters. And one of them, in pristine condition, sold for $1.9 million. That's enough to buy a house. Or two. Or a lifetime supply of pizza and socks. I don't know your priorities. First, check the date. It has to say 1965. If it says 1964, it's supposed to be silver. If it says 1966, it's definitely not silver. But if it says 1965 and it's silver, jackpot. Second, do the ping test. Drop the quarter on a hard surface and listen. Silver quarters have a high-pitched, bell-like ring. Clad quarters sound like, well, disappointment. Third, if you've got a coin scale, weigh it. Silver quarters weigh about 6.25 grams, while clad quarters weigh about 5.67 grams. That tiny difference is worth a mountain of cash. About 2 years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know, one of those projects that starts with, this'll take an hour, and turns into a full weekend of sneezing, lifting boxes full of VHS tapes, and discovering spiders big enough to pay rent. While sorting through an old coffee can of change, because every uncle has one, I spotted a stack of quarters that looked unusually shiny for their age. I didn't think much of it until I dropped one and it rang like a church bell. I took it home, weighed it, and sure enough, 6.25 grams. I about fell out of my chair. I had it checked out by a coin expert, and while it wasn't the $1 million unicorn, it still fetched over $500. For one quarter. That's a 20,000% return, folks. Show me a stock that can do that. The point is, these coins are out there. People find them in pocket change, in old jars, in inherited collections, even in parking lot coin returns. You don't have to be Indiana Jones to uncover treasure. Sometimes, you just need to clean out your junk drawer. The better the shape, the higher the value. A mint condition 1965 silver quarter is like winning the numismatic lottery. If it's graded by a reputable company like PCGS or NGC and it comes back as MS65 or higher, you're in business. But even if it's not in perfect shape, a silver 1965 quarter is still worth hundreds or even thousands. The mint never admitted these errors for years. So when collectors started discovering them, it was like finding out your old Toyota has a hidden Ferrari engine under the hood. Shocking, exciting, and a little bit infuriating. So there you have it. The humble 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter, a coin that was supposed to be ordinary, but turned out to be extraordinary. It's proof that treasure doesn't always sparkle. Sometimes, it's dull and grimy and hiding in plain sight in your pocket. Don't just take my word for it. Check your coins. Dig into that old piggy bank. Go through grandma's change jar. You never know what you'll find. And if you do happen to discover a silver 1965 quarter, call me. Or at least send me a photo so I can live vicariously through your riches. Before you head out to rummage through your couch cushions, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, stories, and coin collecting strategies coming your way. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, I'm here to help you turn pocket change into big-time treasure. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment about your craziest coin find, and share this with a friend who needs a new hobby, or $1 million. Hey folks, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? I mean really stared at it. If you're like most people, probably never. You toss it in a jar, leave it in the car cup holder, or let it build up in the couch cushions until your vacuum makes that horrible clunking noise. Well, here's the shocker of the day. One of those little forgotten coins, specifically the 1999 New Jersey quarter, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1 million. Yep, you heard me right. $1 million. And no, I'm not trying to sell you a timeshare. This is real coin collector gold, folks. Now before you go flipping over your whole piggy bank, let me tell you a little story. A while back, I was at a flea market, digging through a beat-up old coin bin, you know, the kind where everything smells like metal and disappointment. And just for fun, I grabbed a handful of quarters to fill out my state quarter map from 1999. One of them was a New Jersey quarter. Looked pretty normal. I almost spent it on a hot dog. And now I'm kicking myself because if that little sucker had the right features and that Denver mint mark, I could have been telling this story from my beach house in Maui instead of my garage. So grab a snack, kick back, and let's talk about what makes the 1999 New Jersey quarter such a rare gem, and how you might already have one hiding in plain sight. Alright, so let's set the stage. The year was 1999. Y2K panic was in full swing, people were hoarding bottled water, and the U.S. Mint launched the 50-state quarters program. New Jersey was the third state honored, and boy did they deliver. The design on the back shows George Washington crossing the Delaware River. It's based on the famous painting that probably every middle school history teacher had on their classroom wall. The coin also says Crossroads of the Revolution, which sounds like a killer name for a classic rock band. Now here's where things get juicy. Most of these coins are just regular old quarters. But a small batch minted in Denver had some serious production quirks. We're talking die errors, misstrikes, double dies, and some seriously crisp strikes on high-quality planchets. That's the nerdy coin way of saying they got real lucky with how these quarters turned out. Collectors started noticing that some of these 1999 New Jersey quarters looked different, sharper details, cleaner edges, even the tiniest doubling in some of the lettering. Add to that a near-perfect mint state condition and bam, you've got yourself $1 million coin. First off, the mint mark. You want that little D, right next to Washington's ponytail. That means it was minted in Denver, which is key. Next, condition. The better shape the coin's in, the higher the value. We're talking mint state 67 or higher. No scratches, no nicks, and no evidence it's ever been inside a vending machine. Then, we've got errors. Now usually, errors are a bad thing. Like when I tried to assemble a grill and accidentally turned it into a weird-looking bookshelf. But in the coin world, errors can be worth big money. Some of the 1999 New Jersey quarters show doubling on the date or the lettering. Others have die cracks or misalignment, which makes them look just a little off-center. Those tiny flaws? They make the coin one of a kind. And collectors will pay big bucks for that kind of uniqueness. In fact, one particularly pristine 1999 New Jersey quarter with all the right characteristics sold in a private auction for, you guessed it, $1 million. Let me repeat that for dramatic effect. $1 million. For a quarter, and while that's not the average going rate, most of these valuable versions are fetching between $5,000 and $75,000 depending on the details. There are a few unicorns out there worth 7 figures. Now before you get too excited and start cleaning your change with toothpaste, don't do that by the way, take your time. You've got to know what you're looking for. A certified coin grader can help if you think you've got something special. Just don't try to sell it on some sketchy auction site where people are selling pet rocks and haunted dolls. So here's another little personal tale. A buddy of mine named Dave, who knows nothing about coins, like zero, was watching one of my videos while waiting for his laundry to finish. He heard me mention this quarter, and he actually got up and dug through the jar of change he'd been collecting for 10 years. Yup. A 1999 D New Jersey quarter. Now, it wasn't the $1 million version, but it was clean, it had a small doubling error, and he ended up selling it for a little over $1,200. And this is a guy who once thought a wheat penny was something you eat with cereal. Alright my friends, we've talked history, we've talked errors, we've talked how a plain old quarter can be your golden ticket. The 1999 D New Jersey quarter is a shining example of why it's worth checking your change. Maybe. Maybe not. But until you take a closer look, you'll never know. Actually, do yourself a favor. Go dig through that old coffee can, that change jar, that drawer full of random stuff next to your fridge. You might just strike it rich, and if you enjoyed this video, learned something new, or just like the sound of my voice, which my mom says is radio-worthy, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you don't miss out on the next big coin tip, because I've got plenty more where this came from. We're diving into more $1 million coins, coin collecting strategies, and all the weird, wonderful money hiding in plain sight. So keep collecting, stay curious, and remember, next time someone hands you change, don't just take it. Inspect it.